Hi everyone, and welcome to the next instalment of Joachim and Markus's group build, wheeled vehicles in military use. If you're not aware of Markus and Joachim's work, their links are down below in the description, so please go check out their channels and like and subscribe. Here we're going to be doing the next update on my conversion of Airfix's 1/35th scale Austin K2 ambulance into the one used in the film Ice Cold in Alex, better known as KATY. So in this video we're going to be looking at the front end and all of the detailing that needed to get it like the one in the film. Now, first off, the grille. This is pretty good mould actually from Airfix. It's exactly the same width as the one that's used in the film as far as the grille goes. Now, obviously, I wanted to change it and put a PE one in, but the Eduard set was pretty poor, so I couldn't use that. So what I decided to do is try and find the smallest mesh that I could. From Eduard, which was the 2x4, and even that was too big. So I decided just to stick with the Airfix plastic part, and once painted and weathered, I'm sure it'll look the part anyway. As you can also see at the top there, there's a badge that needs to come out and a few holes drilled in as per the film. Now with the front windscreen, anything to do with clear items, I put some Tamiya tape on to save any scratches and finger marks. And then once that was put in, there were some injector marks that needed to be filled in. This is one of the worst kits for injector marks I've ever had to do. This side we're going to put a little resin 3D printed fire extinguisher. Now I thought they were a little bit too small, but they are the same size as the Gecko ones in the Gecko kit, so I was pleased to put that. And then some missing rivets and nuts, etc. were put on, as well as the clasps down the side that hold in the canopy that goes across the driver and passenger side doors. Also put in the motor for the windscreen wipers and a few door stays, a little butterfly clasp there as well. So all detailed up. Turn my attention then to the actual bonnet itself. As you can see, we have side vents and also a couple of handles to pull up the bonnet. Those were at 40 degrees, so those needed to be changed, and as you can see on the side, the vent is in fact a double vent rather than a single, so that all had to be scraped off down the middle using a fine chisel and sander. I was really pleased how that came out. And then I took off the little levers to pull up the bonnet, and those were replaced simply with a little bit of plastic rod. Now we've got a couple of little vents on each side. I couldn't be bothered to cut them out, so what I did, I just stuck on some plastic card ones just to represent the area. And there we go with the front two parts now attached to each other. I was pleased with how it worked. And then shock horror, I discovered on the other side that it's a single vent, and I had actually gone along and actually scraped it down to make two. So I was not too happy at that stage, so I had to refit all of that and do that all again. As for the front headlamps, very different in the film, so they were cut down to size, sanded back, and then using some plastic tubing and also a couple of little 3 slits on each one, I made the new headlamps, and then they were attached onto the main body itself, as you can see there, and also that repair that I had to do as well. But all in all, really pleased with how it's going. I've also put on the front bumper there as well, and also the little lights on the mud guards as well. And there's those little holes I told you about to replace the mascot. Now, as you can see here on this picture, we have some wires going into the side from underneath the lamps. So that was done using 3mm wire and just drilled through on each side. Pretty straightforward. Now the front holder for the number 5 plate, in the film it's just the upright bit, so I removed the horizontal part and just left the PE bit, which actually comes with the Airfix kit, as well as the disc, as you can see there. So that was all put in place. Really pleased with how that turned out. Now in the film we have a scene with the fen matting where one of the guys is rescued from the quicksand, and you have 2 rolls of this on the front mudguards. So I managed to get out the RB Tools guillotine and cut lots of plastic rod to size. There's around about 50 I did per roll. Bit of a laborious job, but once done, it was just a matter of then checking the actual length of each one, and they're between sort of 12 to 13 mil. And I got some Tamiya tape and then just started sticking them on as closely as I possibly could, leaving the smallest of gaps. And then once that was done, it was just a matter of getting another piece of Tamiya tape, placing that on top, like so, and then very gently getting the end of your nail and just going down the middle of each of those little rods and just creating a crease. I was really pleased how that all turned out. And then it was the fiddly job of just wrapping them around like so, and then just got a little bit of Tamiya tape, cut it down to size, and that just kept the matting together. Now in the film you can just see in the middle there's a little wire, that's what holds the matting in place, and also just above that there's a little loop which is on both mudguards, which were missing from the kit, so those were added. And just using 2mm wire I added the effect, and that will be done on both of those. So really pleased with how these turned out. So once that was done, I turned my attention to the tow rope. This was a bit of a tricky one because they have shackles as well as towing eyes. So this was the tow rope that I used from Eureka. I cut off the loops for the of the resin, but then I kept the sleeve, attached that to the tow cable, and then I made my own shackles and also my own little eyelets as well using fuse wire. So altogether it was a very fiddly job, but really pleased with how it turned out. Now on the front there are mud guards. These don't come with the kit at all, so they had to be made up using plasticard and some plasticard strip. Once cut to size, I just scored each one just to give that X effect, and then they were stuck on quite easily, and a couple of Meng nuts on each one. So really pleased how they turned out. Some missing detail down the side as well. The actual kit canopy are pretty poor, so I decided to make my own ones again with the green stuff. Just sculpt it around a strip around the cocktail stick, and then as you can see I've attached a couple of PE belts from the spares drawer on the side. The bottom one was moved down a bit because it didn't look quite right, and then it's just a matter of tying those all in, gluing it together, and then just sculpting them, and as you can see they've turned out pretty good. So all in all, very fiddly but very enjoyable. I really did enjoy this part of the build, and I'm very pleased with how that's all turned out. So there we go, guys. That's the final part of the video for the construction phase of this build. As far as the extras go, we have the famous rucksack, which has the guy's bottles of gin and also the German radio. So that was sculpted with the old green stuff and a couple of little PE straps there as well. We have the famous map board that's behind the front seat. That makes an appearance a couple of times in the film. So again, some green stuff strips and a bit of plasticard. Then we have the black oil container. Again, makes a couple of appearances in the film. That was made out of plasticard again, just a few strips and some beading around and sanded to shape. And then we have the famous crank, where the main part of the film at the end, where the Austin K2 is cranked up that sand dune. And that was made from an old German one with a bit of an extension and some Tamiya tape. Now they did load on some jerry cans at the beginning. There was 8 altogether, but obviously my builds based at the end of the film, so I've just put a couple in there. And also we got some resin blankets and pillows and bags from Red Zebra, and I've made Sylvia Sim's little handbag, which makes a couple of appearances as well. So there we go, guys, finally got to the end of the build process. Looking forward to now getting the wet stuff out. Got a bit of a surprise for you on that front, so look forward to just giving you the update in a couple of weeks. Now, as always, I'll leave you some of the photos from behind the scenes, and it just leaves me to say thank you very much indeed for your continued support of this build, and a massive thank you to all of my subscribers. I really do appreciate you popping in and chatting and commenting. In the meantime, everybody, happy modelling.